Okay, are you there? Okay. Yes, the next section I came up with is what I call 15 low budget marketing ideas mom can use to promote their businesses. I mean, we all know the importance of marketing for every business, whether it's a product or service based business you're running. Number one, ask for referrals and learn to tell prospective clients what you do. So it don't matter where you are, just as you are in this seminar, you just don't know who would refer you to your next big client. So talk about what you do, interact with one another, and ask people to refer you. It could even be in your church, it could be in your children's school, wherever you think you can get your prospective clients. Do not hesitate to ask others for referrals. And then number two is what I call learn several DIY skills. Now this is one point that is very, very, very dear to my heart and important to me, because it is something that I practice. When I launched my brand 5 years ago, my photo shoots for the next 2-3 years after I launched usually cost me like thousands of pounds. I had to get the models, I had to pay photographer, I had to pay makeup artist, I had to pay a creative director and a stylist. But after I had my daughter and I decided that I needed to start cutting expenditure in every aspect, even my business and all of that. So that put me to I now learned I had to invest in a camera, and I now learned photography. I've always had a passion for that, but I now learned it. And whether you believe it or not, I had to do my last photo shoot myself, and this is what it looks like. So this the one behind me that you can see at my backdrop, yes, I spent well over £3,000 to get that shoot done, and I literally did this one myself. I was the makeup artist, I was the stylist, I was the photographer, and all of that. So you can learn photography. Then another way I cut costs through DIY is I use I had to learn graphic design when I wanted to make my business cards and letterheaded papers. And the graphic designer came up with this huge quote, and I'm like, what? So that put me, I went online, I went to Google, and I read up, and I tried things out myself. And again, that is it. So I came up with a graphic design, I came up with a write-up, and that's what my flyer looked like. I did all of my flyers myself, my business card, I did the design and came up with it. And the printing didn't cost, I ended up spending just like 1/10 of what the graphic designer wanted me to spend for graphic design. Then another DIY skill that I learned to cut cost was I went back to sewing school to learn how to sew. I wanted to come up with my collection for the runway, and I was trying to get machinists and tailors, and they were giving me very, very high quotes. And I just sat down and thought to myself, you know what, you can do it. And I went to a sewing school and I learned how to sew, and the dress you can see behind, I made it myself, and I sew myself now, my collections and all of that. So there's several DIY skills you can learn. Even my YouTube videos, I record them myself, and they're gonna put up a slide of one of them, and you'll see what it looks like. I literally did that myself. There's so many ways you can cut costs in terms of marketing. Instead of paying models, instead of paying a modeling agency to get me a kid model when I launched my kiddies line, I had to use my daughter as my model. That kind of cut me cost as well. So there's so many ways you can cut costs and still achieve excellence in what you do. So the third point is research about the most likely places to find potential clients and go to those places. Someone like me that after I launched my kiddies line, for the baby headbands that could be used by newborns and kids generally, my first port of call was to go to hospitals and reach out to new moms. And I knew how I really, really wanted bold headbands when I had my daughter, and I couldn't have access to it because at the time Claire's monopolized the market, and it was the smaller ones I could get from Claire's. So that's saw me actually starting the kiddies line because I saw a gap in the market that I could fill. So the hospitals was my first port of call. Then the schools in my neighborhood, I've approached a few of them and dropped my flyers there. Your churches, dance schools, mother toddler groups. Just reach out to these people. These are my potential clients, and I reach out to this group of people, and the sales is beginning to come in little trickles from here and there. So that's a very important factor as well. Then we all know the big role that social media plays in today's businesses. The fourth point I've put is create a Facebook page for your business and promote what you do daily. Your Facebook page is different from your personal Facebook handle, so create a business page and try to promote your business there. The fifth point is tweet about your business on Twitter using the appropriate hashtags. Now, say you do stuff for kids, try to include kids, toddlers in your tweets, and anybody searching for those terms might just bump into your product or service, and you just never know where your next big client would come from. So Twitter plays a big role as well. Then use Pinterest to promote your business. Pinterest is where you pin images that you've shared, and you can assemble and arrange all of your images there. Another important place where you can get prospective clients is LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is a professional networking body, so you can connect with potential clients there, and you can also create an Instagram page for your business, especially if your business is product based. Snap good pictures. You don't even need a camera to get good pictures these days. Literally every phone is a camera phone. Take good pictures of your products and promote it. Use the right hashtags. You just don't know how far it can travel, and who your next potential client would be. Then the ninth point I've raised is develop a social media plan and implement it. Spend some money if you can afford it. Spend some money on social media advertising. All the major platforms offer forms of inexpensive advertising offer within, and these offers tend to reach incredible targeting base, more than you can ever imagine. I for one, I use the Facebook marketing a lot. And believe you me, when I started using the Facebook adverts for my business posts, I noticed that I started getting clicks because I pay for target audience and for people to actually click my website. So it would show you how many people have clicked your website from that advert, and it would say, and there's no set fee. You can work on your budgets. And on how many days you want it to run for. So I implore you, if you can afford it, it's something you can look towards in the long run, even if not immediately. Then develop a business partnership and do cross promotions with other businesses. If you are spending on, if you want to do promotion, say a photo shoot or a fashion show, and it would cost you a lot of money if you're doing it on your own. But if I liaise with other designers that are in the same field, and we all have, say, one photographer, and we are all conniving to pay the models together and the makeup artists, and we're all teaming up, say maybe about 3 or 4 of us, then instead of one person bearing the cost, that will be 4 people. So you can do similar thing in whatever you do. You can liaise with other businesses, and that can save you cost. Number 11, create a YouTube channel and get it up and running by creating videos about your product or service and posting them. We all know how YouTube videos can go viral, and people want to see that you actually know what you're offering and you know your onions. So I implore you to do this. You don't need any fancy studio or any of that to do that. You can record the videos on your phone. You can tell your children to help you record. You can record it. I record my videos on my own because my daughter is still a toddler. So nothing is stopping you. You do not have any excuse whatsoever. The 12th point is go cold calling and blow your own horn. Take the chance, reach out to people that you don't necessarily know, that you meet at. By the time you speak with 10-20 people, even if 19 people snub you, one person might give you an audience, and you just never know, that could lead you to a sale. So cold calling is what I advise people to do, if you're able to. Then create a blog for your business. Now this might not be for everybody, but if you can, what that does is you're talking about what you're offering, and as you're sharing it, people are actually seeing what you do, and that can get them to click on your site or check you out through other medium, and it can generate to a sale eventually. And then learn how to create powerful sales presentation that persuades customers to buy. If you can't do it yourself, reach out and ask for help, you know. And the last point I've created is create a website for your small business if you don't have one. People think it's very expensive to create websites, but there are actually platforms that enable you to create free websites. Unfortunately, I've not shared any here, but if there's anyone interested, I've got my contact details at the end of this slide, and you can reach out to me. Email is the best way to reach out to me, and I can give you some ideas where you can find free links to create your websites. You don't need to be a web developer to know how to operate one or to run. My website is self-managed. So that takes us to the next and final session, where I've called 5 tips on how moms can network their way to success.